Well, good evening. This is your primetime news bulletin. We are coming to you live from the newsroom weather center. I'm Sahana Yathra. Well, floods and landslides are being reported from several districts across the country in light of the incessant rains experienced over the past couple of days. Now, according to the latest reports, 6 deaths have been reported from across the country caused by various weather-related accidents. And now, according to our latest reports, the Disaster Management Center says a flood situation has developed in the Ging River from the Tavalama and Badegama areas. Now, its Assistant Director of the Disaster Management Center, Pradeep Kodipli, said the water levels of the Kalani River and the Kaluganga have also developed to flood water levels. Now, according to our correspondent, the Udugama Gaul Main Road, reporting on the Udugama Gaul Main Road, flood levels have risen there considerably, and if you look at the footage that we're airing on your screens right now, water levels have reached knee height. Now, according to correspondent, as you can see, people are using boat as a mode of transport to get from point A to point B. Now, authorities have been dispatched to assist with the people. Our correspondent says once again that these footage you're seeing right now are along the Udugama Gaul Main Road, and the water levels have reached knee level. Now, just to look back at the situation across the country, over 20,000 people are affected across 12 districts due to the adverse weather, 7,742 people in the Gaul district. Now, in light of the series of events that have transpired over the past couple of days, Newsfirst have taken matters upon themselves to assist in relief activities, so on and so forth. And in the studio today, I'm joined by Nidra Veerasinghe, the Group Director of Capital Maharaja Organization Limited. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Ma'am, like I said before, Newsfirst, in light of the series of events, Newsfirst, MTV, MBC have taken matters upon themselves to launch the Sahana Yathra program once again to assisting the people. Could you explain what is happening here?
Yes, actually the chairman and the management of the Capital Maharaja organization have decided to immediately commence the Sirasa Shakti Newsfirst Sahana Yathra, given that over 20,000 people have been affected and the weather conditions are not improving, they are only worsening. Therefore, there are 2 points I would like to stress on. One is that several of these relief efforts that we've had over the past 20 years have been possible with the help of the general public. Your generosity and kindness is what has made this a success in reaching the most needy. And also this time I would like to appeal to the general public. Our collection center is open here at our Newsfirst headquarters at Braybrook Place, and tomorrow morning at Stein Studios and the Panama complex there will be 2 more collection centers open. So I would like to appeal to you to please assist us, to please join us in helping our fellow Sri Lankans. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Nidra Veerasinghe, the Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Organization Limited. Well, to further elaborate on what Nidra Veerasinghe said, the items that we are collecting here at the Capital Maharaja Organization Limited head office at Ratmalana and in the Panama are rice, dal, sugar, tea, noodles, canned fish, biscuits, water and sanitary items. Those items once again that we are collecting here at Braybrook Place 45/3, Braybrook Place, Colombo 2, Ratmalana and the Depanama Studio Complex are rice, dal, sugar, tea, noodles, milk powder, canned fish, biscuits, water and sanitary items. So as Nidra Veerasinghe did say, our collecting centers are open at the moment, and you can hand in your items to be distributed to the locations which have been affected severely by the adverse weather conditions across the country. These are solely for the benefit of our fellow Sri Lankans, so please be a part of this initiative. Moving back on to the situation across the country, as mentioned before, over 20,000 people of 3,438 families have been affected across 12 districts in the islands due to the adverse weather conditions. Now, the Disaster Management Center said the highest number of people affected were from the Gaul district, with the number standing at 7,742. Now, the Disaster Management Center did go on to say that the death toll due to the adverse weather has risen to 6 during a span of a week. Now, it added 4 of these 6 deaths were caused by lightning-related accidents. Now, the Met Department has requested the general public to take adequate precautions to avoid and minimize such accidents from taking place. Now, moving on to further up country, the Nuwara district, 60 people of 52 families in the Nuwara Divisional Secretariat have been affected by the adverse weather conditions. Now, the Disaster Management Center previously did issue a flood warning for those living along the banks of the Kalani River from Hangwala to Colombo, and the residents have been advised to evacuate to safer locations. Now, Assistant Director of the Disaster Management Center, Pradeep Kodipli, said the water levels of the Kalin River is continuing to rise due to persistent showers. It is now previously, the Department of Irrigation also issued an announcement saying the water levels of the Mahabeli and Ging rivers, as well as the Mahaoya and Attanagalu Oya, are also rising rapidly. Director of Hydrology at the department, Mala Alawathugoda, said the water levels of the Kaluganga have increased from a minor flood situation to a major flood situation. That item again, Director of Hydrology at the Department of Irrigation, Mala Alawathugoda, says that the water levels of the Kaluganga have risen from a minor flood level to a major flood level, thereby requesting those living on the banks of these rivers to remain much caution to avoid any casualties. Now, she did say the flood waters in the Millakanda area are expected to rise further as heavy rains continue. Now, the residents of Kalutura, Dodangoda, Millania, Maduravala, Horana, Bulat Singhala, Ingiria, Palinda Nuwara, Kirialla, Kurubita, Alapata and Ratnapura along the Kaluganga have been warned to take precautionary measures to protect themselves from sudden floods. Now, taking a look at the stories from Kegol in isolated incidents. A 43-year-old male was killed in the 76-acre area in the Udugoda and Bulat Kohuputia of the Bulat Kohuputia Divisional Secretariat area in the Kegol district when an earth embankment collapsed onto a house. Now, vehicle movement on the Bulat Kohuputia Kegol 821 road was hampered as well after a tree collapsed onto a high voltage power line on the road. Now, measures were taken by locals in the area and the police to restore normalcy along the road to ensure that vehicular movement continues smoothly. Now, the National Building Research Organization also issued an advisory saying a red landslide warning, a code red landslide warning for 15 divisional secretariat areas in the Ratnapura, Gaul, Kegol, Kalutura and Kandy districts have been issued. Now, the senior geologist at the organization, Garmin Jaitis, has said landslide warnings have been issued to 11 districts for the next 24 hours since 4 p.m. this evening. Now, another situation report, 25 families in the Ganegoda area in the Bulat Kohuputia Divisional Secretariat area were evacuated due to the high risk of landslides. Now, the evacuees were relocated to the Ganegoda Community Hall. In another incident, the bunt of the Battalu Oyama Elia Vava in Chilau broke away today and villagers were rescued who were affected by the overflow of water were rescued by personnel of the Disaster Management Center and the Sri Lanka Navy. Also, in Chilau, the Chilau-Putlam main road as well as the Colombo-Putlam railway line were also underwater caused by the incessant rains over the past couple of days. Now, the Ratnapura town and several low-lying areas around it have also been inundated due to the adverse weather conditions, and according to our reporters, several people are moving out of the areas to avoid any damage. Now, of course, the people in Ratnapura are quite used to such situations due to the past experience they've had over a couple of years. Now, according to our correspondent, 2 spill gates of the Lakshapanda Reservoir and 4 spill gates of the Upper Kotmale Reservoir have also been opened, and 7 spill gates of the Pologula Reservoir in Kandy have been opened. Then, duty engineer of the Pologula Reservoir at the Mahabeli Authority, Atula Pushpakumara, said around 23,200 cubic feet of water is being released per second to the Victoria Reservoir. Now, several low-lying areas in Pannala are also flooded as a result of the Maoya reaching spill level. The Met Department issuing its weather forecast says 150 millimeters of heavy rainfall can be expected tonight in the central, Sabaragamu, western and northwestern provinces, as well as in the Gaul and Mathura districts. Now, to assist in the rescue operations and to assist the general public in avoiding any damage and avoiding any casualties, the forces, the military and security forces are on high alert as 9 army teams consisting of 125 soldiers have been dispatched to the Kalutura, Gaul, Mathura and Ratnapura districts, which are at high risk of flooding. Now, Army Media spokesperson Brigadier Sumit Atapattu said the teams are equipped with boats and other life-saving equipment. And as for the Sri Lanka Navy, 27 Navy teams have also been dispatched to the Gaul, Kalutura, Kurunegala and Putlam districts as part of their relief efforts. Navy Navy spokesperson Commander Dinesh Bandara said all personnel at bases across the country have been placed on standby to be deployed if the need arises. Now, the Sri Lanka Air Force have also got in the action saying helicopters and personnel are on standby to assist in emergency evacuations to provide relief to those affected. Now, the police also have established several disaster operation centers across the country in police divisions. Police media spokesperson SP Ruan Gunasekara said 44 teams of 210 police life-saving personnel have been assigned at selected police stations. Now, also one of the reports that we received earlier in the day was steps were being taken to evacuate residents of Sitawaka, Kaduela and Kolonnawa along the banks of the Kalin River due to the rising water levels of the river and the danger of flooding. Now, Colombo District Secretary Sunil Kandangara said residents are being directed to shelters and safe locations. Kandangara added that as of 6 p.m. today, more than 200 families had been evacuated from these areas. That item, once again, just another announcement. Steps were being taken to evacuate residents of Sitawaka, Kaduela and Kolonnawa along the banks of the Kalin River due to the rising water levels of the river and danger of flooding. Now, Colombo District Secretary Sunil Kandangara said residents are being directed to shelters and safe locations. Kandangara added that as of 6 p.m. today, more than 200 families had been evacuated from these areas. In another item, one lane of the Alawa Kurunagala main road close to the Maoya was temporarily closed earlier this evening. Now, the police said a kilometer of the road from Alawa had multiple cracks on the road, causing the police to close one lane of the road and direct vehicular movement along just one lane of the road. Now, just a news item once again, earlier, as you mentioned, the Disaster Management Center did say the situation, flood situation has developed in the Ging River from the Tawalama and Badegama areas. Its Assistant Director Pradeep Kodibe said the water levels of the Kalin River and Kaluganga have also developed to flood levels. Now we will join Nicola Bizoisa at the newsroom to give us the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Nicola, what do you have for us, Nicola?
Thank you, Shaheen. Welcome to the newsroom. Now, if I can just direct your attention towards the visuals behind me. The green color indicates the high level of precipitation that's prevalent over the island at present. The Met Department is forecasting heavy showers in excess of 150 millimeters. Now, the heavy showers are expected in the central, Sabaragamuwa western and northwestern provinces and the Gaul and Mathura districts tonight. The heavy showers have caused water levels of the Kaluganga to rise to what the Disaster Management Center calls a major flood situation, while water levels of other major rivers are also on the rise. Code red landslide warnings, the highest landslide warning level, have been issued for 15 administrative divisions in the Ratnapura, Kegaul, Gaul, Kaluthara as well as the Kandy districts. Back to you.
Well, just a recap of what happened throughout the country. Over 20,000 people of 3,438 families have been affected due to the inclement weather conditions across the country over the past couple of days. 6 deaths have been reported so far. 4 of the deaths were caused by lightning-related accidents. Now, the Disaster Management Center did go on to say that the death toll did rise to 6 today, and that 7,742 people have been reported to be affected from the Gaul district, which is incidentally the highest report of victims in the country. In the Nure district, 260 people of 52 families in the Nure area divisional secretariat have been affected by the adverse weather. Now, the Disaster Management Center has issued a flood warning for those living along the banks of the Kalin River from Hangwala to Colombo, and residents have been advised to evacuate from these areas. Now, just to look back at what the initiative has been undertaken here. Now, considering the number of displaced persons at this point, the vast areas affected and the imminent danger residents of many districts are in, Newsfirst, MTV and MBC have decided to launch the Sahana Yathra relief effort. Now, we will be collecting specific dry rations to be delivered to impacted areas starting tonight at our head office in Colombo at 45-3 Braeburn Place, Colombo 2. Now, just to repeat once again, the items that are being collected at 3 different locations starting from tonight, the Colombo head office here at Braeburn Place, Colombo 2, Ratmalana and the Panama are rice, dal, sugar, tea, milk powder, noodles, canned fish, biscuits, water, sanitary items. Once again, those items are rice, dal, sugar, tea, milk powder, noodles, canned fish, biscuits, water and sanitary items. Do remember, it is your contribution and your support that will make a difference in assisting our fellow Sri Lankans to come out of these difficult times at the time of need.